Hey, welcome back to Ancestry Lands. And if you're new here, this channel is about helping landowners actually understand and take care of the property they worked hard to get. And today we're talking about something that's genuinely urgent right now: wildfire season. And before you click away thinking that, it's not my problem, here's the thing: wildfire risk in 2026 is showing up in places that people never expected. We're talking about parts of the Southeast, the Great Plains, areas that don't exactly scream wildfire country. But drought has a way of changing those rules. Fast, dry land plus wind plus spark equals a very bad day, no matter your zip code. So today we're going to do what I call 7-point defensible space check. And I promise this is practical, this is doable, and some of it you can knock out this weekend. So let's get into it. Point number one, and honestly, the most important one, I like to call the danger donut. That's the zone from 0 to 5 feet around your home, your cabin, your shop, your garage, your propane tank, basically anything you care about losing. It's the ring right around your structure, and it's the most ignored zone in the wildfire prep every single time. And here's why it matters so much. Most homes don't just catch fire and because a wall of flames walked up and knocked on your door. They catch fire because the wind blows embers land at the land nearby and it finds something easy to ignite. And guess where? Those embers land right up against the building. So how does that look on the average property? That decorative mulch bed you put in last spring, the wood pile that's conveniently close to the back door, the plastic storage bin, the welcome mat, the stack of lumber from a project you definitely plan to finish. If it's touching the building or within a few feet of it, it's basically an all-you-can-eat buffet for embers. The good news is this is also the easiest zone you can fix. You just have to actually look at it. Point two, go non-combustible close to the home. Once you've identified your danger donut, the goal is to make those first few feet as unburnable as possible. We're talking gravel, stone, pavers, clean hard surfaces, things that an ember can land on and just sit there sadly, without starting a fire. Now, here's where people get tripped up. They think I'll just put some nice green plants there instead of mulch and that's safer. And look, sometimes it is, but the green and the lime doesn't automatically mean fire resistant. A lot of beautiful landscaping plants will burn just fine when they're baking in a drought for about 2 months. Bark mulch right up against your siding is one of the worst offenders. It's essentially decorative kindling. Swap it out for gravel or stone. Keep plants from touching your walls, decks, porch stairs, and you've already made a meaningful improvement. It doesn't have to look perfect, but it just has to not be on fire. Point three, hunt down your ember traps. This is a little sneaky one, and stay with me. Ember traps are spots where the wind-blown embers collect and just wait. Roof alleys, gutters full of dry leaves, the corners of decks, porch litter, fence lines that could connect directly to your house, anything stored underneath a deck. And here's the thing, embers don't need much. A small pile of dry debris in the wrong spot can go from nothing to a problem in seconds. The common one I see, overlooked gutters. If your gutters are packed with dry leaves right now, you're essentially storing kindling directly above your home, which is, and I say this with love, not ideal. Cleaning your gutters is not glamorous, and it's not the kind of thing most people post about, but during wildfire season, it genuinely matters. So walking around your property and asking yourself, where would an ember want to hang out? Then deny that opportunity. Point four, break up continuous fuel in the next zone out. Okay, so we've handled the cluff in close. Now let's zoom out to 5 to 30 feet zone, where it's a lot of people actually spend their energy, but often in the wrong way. The concept here is simple. Fire loves continuity. When fuel connects from one thing to the next, grass to shrubs, low branches to your roof, fire can travel that path like it's on a fuse. Your job is to interrupt that fuse. That means trimming lower branches off trees so fire can't climb from the ground up into the canopy. That's called a ladder fuel situation, and it's very bad. It means spacing out your shrubs so they can't form one solid wall of heat. And that means keeping shrubs away from windows and walls where the radiant heat becomes a problem even before the flames arrive. You're not trying to clear out your land, you're just trying to make sure that there's no continuous highway of fuel leading straight to your house. Point 5. This is one surprises a lot of people. Grass. Dry grass is basically gasoline or grassoline. You can mow in a lot of regions, including areas people don't think of as fire country. Grass-driven fires move incredibly fast. We're not talking about slow and smoky. We're talking about fast-moving, wind-driven, and very hard to outrun. The mistake people make is thinking it's just grass. It's not a big deal. But you've got tall, dry, growing grass right up against your buildings, your fence, or along a driveway. That grass is going to become the thing that delivers fire right to your door before anything else does. A mowed, maintained buffer around your structures and along the access routes can make a dramatic difference. You don't need a manicured lawn worthy of a magazine cover. You need a reasonable break between the wild stuff and the stuff you want to keep. Point 6. Stop storing fuel where the fire wants it most. This is the one I genuinely want to make you slightly inconvenient choices about for very good reasons. Wood piles, propane tanks, scrap lumber, hay bales, pallets, and the mysterious pile of stuff behind the barn or shed that's been there for 3 years and you're not entirely sure what's in it. All those things burn hot and they burn long. And when they're positioned close to your structures, even if the flames never actually touch the wall, the radiant heat alone can cause serious damage. The most common offender, that daggone wood pile right next to the house. It makes total sense from a convenience standpoint. It makes zero sense from a wildfire standpoint. Move it away from the structure. Keep flammables out of under the decks, away from sides of buildings you actually care about. It's a small inconvenience to reposition these things, I know, but the larger inconvenience is to watch them accelerate a fire into your home. Point 7. Build yourself a simple readiness plan. Here's the reality of how wildfire threats work. You often don't have weeks to prepare. You get a few days of warning, sometimes even less, and then people panic and start doing random tasks that feel productive but aren't necessarily the highest priority. So the last point is about having a simple checklist you can actually execute fast when fire starts showing up in your region's new cycle. Here's what it looks like. Cleanup is the 0 to 5 feet zone. First, the danger donut. Clear gutters and any debris off the roof. Remove clutter from porches and decks. Mow then edge the grass near structures. Move wood piles and loose fuel away from buildings. Check your access roads, your gate, your driveway. Clearance, because emergency vehicles need to be able to get in and you need to be able to get out. Notice what's not on the list? Clearing that back 40. The big landscape overhauls, massive projects, those things have their place. But in an urgent situation, the highest impact moves are always close to the house. Start there. Let's do a quick reality check on what actually costs you time-wise. Now, you can make your most meaningful improvements in the afternoon. Call it 2 to 6 hours on average home site. Budget-wise, a lot of these low-cost brake bags, a trimmer, a ladder, some gravel. If you want to replace that mulch, you don't need to hire a crew or spend thousands of dollars to meaningfully reduce your risk. What actually matters most is that 0 to 5 foot zone. Cleaning ember traps like gutters, roof debris, and removing easy fuel close to your structures. That's your priority list. What's optional? Perfect aesthetics during wildfire season, pretty is negotiable, survivable is not. All right, now let's bring it home. If you remember one thing from today, make it this. The most ignored zone is most rural properties is that 0 to 5 feet zone around the structure, the danger donut. It's where people put decorative stuff, convenience stuff, and stuff they've stopped noticing, and it's where embers do their worst damage. Make it non-combustible, remove those ember traps, break up those continuous fuel, handle that grass, reposition the heat sources, and have a plan you can execute fast when the season gets serious. You don't have to do everything at once, but you have to start in the right place. If that was helpful, please subscribe to my channel Ancestry Lands, because practical, no nonsense land ownership content is literally what this channel is built for, and we got a lot more coming this season. And hey, drop a comment below. What's the biggest ignored zone risk on your property right now? Is it mulch beds, wood piles, tall grass, the gutters, or a mystery pile you've been meaning to deal with for 2 summers? No judgment here. Let's hear it. We'll see you in the next one.
Most people don't need motivation, they need better information. Owning land, growing food, and becoming more self-reliant often sound complicated, mostly because they're rarely explained clearly. Ancestry Lands focuses on the practical side of independence by talking about what land ownership actually costs, what works in real backyards and small parcels. Because independence means getting freedom and security, and land just happens to do both. If you prefer planning over panic, subscribe to Ancestry Lands for information you can actually use.